بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد سيد الخلق أجمعين. اللهم ربنا اغفر لنا ذنوبنا، ارحمنا واهدنا واهد بنا وعافنا يا ربنا وارزقنا وبارك لنا اللهم فيما أعطيتنا وارحمنا وأنت الرحمن وأنت الرحيم. اللهم يا ربنا أعزنا ولا تذلنا، اللهم يا ربنا ارفع شأننا، اللهم يا ربنا علمنا من القرآن ما جهلنا وذكرنا منه يا ربنا ما نسينا. اللهم يا ربنا اجعل به جلاء همومنا وأحزاننا، اللهم ربنا اجعله شفاعة لنا يوم القيامة يا رب العالمين. Inshallah, today we continue on with Surah Al-A'raf in the ayah number 167, inshallah. We passed two different stories earlier last week. The story number one was once it started the ayah 160 to the ayah number 162, which is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala divided Bani Israel into 12 different tribes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when they needed water, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered Musa alayhi salam for him to strike the rock with his cane, and 12 different springs of water came out. Look at the context of Surah Al-A'raf. What is the clue we get out of it? Is that for people, as we mentioned at the beginning of it, this surah, it's about entering the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala completely and wholly and totally, not to go halfway. Look at the story here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provided ni'mah for them, provided Bani Israel asbat, water, a prophet, and a messenger to give them what they are asking for, and yet they are instead of doing what they're supposed to do when they wanted to enter when they were ordered to enter the village, for them to say hitta, for them to say good word, to drop off their sins, they made istibdal. They changed the words, they said something else. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought ridges upon them because of what they were transgressing. Bima kanu yadhlimun, the end of ayah number 162. The ayah number 160, the next story is 163 to 166. The next ayah is about something a little bit different. It's about fisq. The first one is about dhulm, transgression. The second ayah, the second story is about fisq, to go outside of where the place they should be. The story here is people of Bani Israel, they were by the sea. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered them the Sabbath for them not to fish. And subhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested them. The first one gave them ni'mah. The next one gave them tested them with fish that comes to them in the days that they cannot fish, and the days they can fish, there's no fish to be able to get. So they cheated the rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They cheated on it, and what they did is that they came out with the way for them to get the fish without them in a way they're doing the actual work, but they cheated. It's cheating, it's fisq. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the first one, He casted ridges upon them. The second one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them qiradatan khasi'in. He made them monkeys. They made masakh to them. He changed their nature into qirada. As they changed the rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala equally, in an equal way, punished them, made them change them into qirada, change them into monkeys. For a little while, they survived for about 2 to 3 days and eventually died. The next ayah here today, we're going to be talking about the next groups of ayat. The ayah number 167. وَإِذْ تَأَذَّنَ رَبُّكَ لَيَبْعَثَنَّ عَلَيْهِمْ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ مَنْ يَسُومُهُمْ سُوءَ الْعَذَابِ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَسَرِيعُ الْعِقَابِ وَإِنَّهُ لَغَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, تَأَذَّن, the word comes in from the word adhan. But when you apply it in the word tafa'al is, adhan comes in originally, it's the source of it is udhun, it is an ear. When you make adhan, is you say something or you want to inform somebody through his ear. So basically you are yelling, shouting, you are calling through him for somebody to hear. This is what the adhan is. The adhan is for him to yu'lim, to reach out with the information, to reach out for this information to be heard by everybody over, overall. تأذن ربك وإذ تأذن ربك ليبعثن, he will send upon them to the day of judgment. من يسومهم سوء العذاب, whoever is, he will make, يسومهم is, he will expose them. سوء العذاب, the worst kind of torture, the worst kind of torment. إن ربك لسريع العقاب, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his punishment is fast and is quick. وإنه لغفور رحيم, and he is all forgiving, he's all has full with rahmah, he's rahim. So بسبب عصيانهم, because of what they have done, look what happened here. Because of this behavior, because of these actions, because of what they've been through, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala casted upon them, he reached out the information to them that he will send to them to the day of judgment. So in other words, here on the face of this earth, he will send to them in the days here until the day of judgment. Somebody, some people, whoever, will expose them to su'ul adab. And subhanAllah, here, yuqal, and it's been said here in Tafsir al-Kathir, talking about what has happened to them because of their asyan, because of the disobedience, because of their went out of their way to do what they've done, with the story and the story before and on and on. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, tafsir, he has exposed them to adab, and Ibn Kathir is showing us some forms of these adab that they've been exposed to Bani Israel. Like for instance, Musa alayhi salam has exposed them or casted upon them 13 years, a form of taxation for 13 years. And he's the very first one to cast the taxation upon any nation. He's the first one to do it upon them. And then Al-Yunan, the Greek, and the Chaldeans, and other than them, from many, many nations have casted, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send them to expose them to many different kinds of adab, and they were dispersed all over the world from all different kind of places, subhanAllah. And you look at them today, they're spread all over the world. They don't have any kind of dignity, any kind of place, until that we hear about, what we see today, how they're gathered today. And it's against their, according to some of their belief, it's against their own ways of believing, but subhanAllah, how they're gathered. But eventuality will be, they will be exposed to all kinds of torture, all kinds of torment, all kinds of disbursement, all kinds of, bad things will happen to them because of their own actions, But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna rabbaka lasari'ul iqab. The punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is quick, is fast. At the same time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Wa innahu, and he is laghafurun, he is all merciful, and he is all rahim, and he is ghafoor, he is all forgiving, he will cover all the sins of what anybody would commit. وَقَطَّعْنَاهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ, ayah number 168 in Surah Al-A'raf. وَقَطَّعْنَاهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ, we have divided them in earth. أُمَمًا, nations. مِنْهُمُ الصَّالِحُونَ, some of them are good. وَمِنْهُمْ دُونَ ذَلِكَ, and some of them are not at that level. They are less than that. وَبَلَوْنَاهُمْ بِالْحَسَنَاتِ وَالسَّيِّئَاتِ, we have tested them with the hasanat, with the good things. We have tested them to find out the good things will come out from them. وَالسَّيِّئَاتِ, the bad things will come out from them. لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجِعُونَ, maybe they will come back to the ways of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, away from dhulm, transgression, away from fisq, as to going outside of the ways of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَخَلَفَ مِن بَعْدِهِمْ خَلْفٌ, after these groups, they went away. They made khalaf, somebody replaced them, inherited what they have. وَرِثُوا الْكِتَابَ, inherited the book, and the book was given to them, they are the rightful owners of the book. يَأْخُذُونَ عَرَضَ هَذَا الدُّنْيَا الْأَدْنَى, they are taking from arad, from the exposure of this lower one. In other words, they are liking, even though they inherited the book, but what did they prefer? What did they take? What did they want to follow? Is this earthly life, the lower one. This earthly life, adana, the lower one. وَيَقُولُونَ, and they say, سَيُغْفَرُ لَنَا, we will be forgiven. We will have maghfirah. We will have maghfirah casted upon them. وَإِن يَأْتِهِمْ عَرَضٌ مِثْلُهُ, and if they have another ard like it, they would take it. They will take it again. أَلَمْ يُؤْخَذْ عَلَيْهِمْ مِيثَاقُ الْكِتَابِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, didn't they take the oath? Wasn't the oath was administered upon them for them to take the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? For them, أَلَّا يَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ إِلَّا الْحَقِّ. For them not to say about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except the haqq, except the right. وَدَرَسُوا مَا فِيهِ. And they studied what's in that book also as well. وَالدَّارُ الْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لِلَّذِينَ يَتَّقُونَ أَفَلَا يَعْقِلُونَ. And they have in their ways, they don't know or they don't understand that the Darul Akhirah, the life after, خير is better for them. لِلَّذِينَ يَتَّقُونَ, the ones who have tuqa. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. Don't you have aql? So I want to go back to two different things in this ayah. Number one is the how the next generations, how they handled it. And this is kind of important to us today. Because if you notice, obviously, to anybody with the right mind, that we don't carry the sins of the generations before us, and they don't carry our sins. Everybody's responsible for his own. So even if our parents, grandparents, or forefathers, whoever, is basically a transgressor or a sinner, we don't get punished for that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will run every single generation, every single person according to his own merit. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him the chance. So the Khilafah, the people who took over the book, how we are also as well, like, for instance, as the Muslims today, how the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Quran, turned over to us. We are the rightful owners, we are the rightful, the keepers of the Quran from the generations who passed away before us, and on and on. Now, look what happened to them, and that's an example for them. So what happened is that once it's passed on to them, they took the earthly life more as a point of preference. And when they were discussed, like, wait a minute, you are violating the book. You're not really following it properly. What did they say? سَيُغْفَرْ لَنَا. We will be forgiven. We will have maghfirah. وَإِنْ يَأْتِهِمْ عَرَضٌ مِثْلُهُ. And if they have عَرض مِثْلَهُ, if they have something administered like it to them, يَأْخُذُوهُ. They would take it other than the book also. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَلَمْ يُؤْخَذْ عَلَيْهِمْ مِيثَاقُ الْكِتَابِ. Wasn't the oath of the book was taken from them, just like the Muslims today? Wasn't the oath that we should follow the Quran was taken from us, or we should have it in our minds? Didn't we, when we either convert into Islam or revert into Islam, or we are born into Islam, didn't we understand that we have to take this book and execute it and keep it and read it and understand it and on and on? Don't we get that? SubhanAllah, every single Muslim today, across the board, you ask him about his book, say the Quran. Somebody said, how important the Quran is? Say number one. As a matter of fact, people today went a little bit way too far. They said, we only take the Quran, we're not going to take anything else, which is wrong. But we should take the Sunnah also as well as equal to the Quran, as the prediction or the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So for them, number one is that did they take the oath? Number one. Number two, أَلَّا يَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ إِلَّا الْحَقِّ. For them not to say about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except what is right, what is haqq, what is sidq, what is truthful, what is correct, what is in the right place. وَدَرَسُوا. And they studied what's in it also as well. It's not like they passed on it. It's not they studied it. They know what's in it. وَالدَّارُ الْآخِرَةِ خَيْرٌ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. The Darul Akhirah خَيْرٌ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ is better for the tuqa, muttaqeen, the ones who truly fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The life after is better for them. Whatever decision they make, whatever thing they do, if it would have a conflict between this decision and this earthly life, they should pick the decision or the right thing for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they will enter the muttaqeen group, and the muttaqeen, they will have the better life in the life after. They will have the eternal life, and this earthly life will go away eventually. So the way they measured it, after they took the oath, after they understood from the oath, is that they should not say anything except the haqq about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they studied it also as well. SubhanAllah, how they violated because they preferred this earthly life, kind of like what we generally do. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. Watch. خَيْرٌ لِلَّذِينَ يَتَّقُونَ. It's better for the ones who are yattaqoon. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying it in a word that directed to the reader. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. Now, تَعْقِلُونَ could have two different meanings here. Number one is that you understand from it, we know the word yaqil, the word aql. Aql is the brain or the mind. But the word derived from عقل يعقل, from ربط يربط, from to tie something, right? So you remember the hadith when the Bedouin came into Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the masjid, and he had a camel with him, and he asked him, he says, أأعقل, would I make aql, would I tie my camel? أتوكل, or for me to make tawakkul, leave the camel, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take care of it. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told him, أعقل, tie, and tawakkal, surrender your ways to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because whatever you do is not going to do you good unless you make tawakkul. You need to take the asbab of tying things and for you to make tawakkul eventually. And this is called the aql. And from it is, if you notice the Bedouins today, when they use this, the piece of cloth, or, piece of, it's called on top of their heads, they use this piece of cloth, and they use that black thing, they sit on top of their heads, it's called iqal. Iqal, it ties it, it does not make it move when you're moving in the, riding camel or walking or whatever. Iqal. So, أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ, in other words, is that don't you use your brains? Don't you use your minds? أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. That's one meaning, beautiful meaning. But another meaning derived also from it is that aql means tahbis, for you to tie, for you to imprison something, for you to keep something. The word here, does it also could possibly mean is that why don't you retain and keep this information with you? Taqilun. Why wouldn't you tie this information? Why don't you keep it with you? Keep it in your mind. As how would you keep information? How would you tie information for it not to escape in your mind? How would you keep it for it not to escape and get away from you? Is by you continuously memorizing it, continuously paying attention to it, continuously putting it in your mind. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. Both meanings are correct. Both meanings in this way. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ, as to don't you use your brains and understand what has happened to the nations before you? Or they themselves, don't they realize of what is happening to them, and what is this, state of disgrace or state of dysfunction they put themselves into when they inherited the book, and they know what's in the book, they know what the oath in the book. They should not say anything about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except what is correct. What did they do? They took the earthly life instead. Yet they know they have the oath, and they study the book, and they know the life after is better for the muttaqeen. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. Then they did not use the brain, or they did not retain the information, they did not keep it in their minds, they let it go away, escape from their minds. Either way, meaning is correct. So you got to look at the كلمة أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ in the Quran in these two different contexts. One is the brain, the aql. Number two is to memorize, to keep the information as a standard of way of life, a standard of behavior for further down the road of actions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the next ayah, number 170. وَالَّذِينَ يُمَسِّكُونَ بِالْكِتَابِ وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ إِنَّا لَا نُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. The ones who hold on tightly to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ. And they kept the rightful system, the rightful way, the system of salah completely, with all its description. أَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ. إِنَّا لَا نُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. We will never allow the reward of the muhsineen, the good doers, to go to waste. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never allow that to go to waste. He will pay them fully and completely. By the way, you notice something unusual about this one here. The kitab is the book. Which book? Which book we're talking about? The talk here is about Bani Israel, right? Or is it the Christians? Or is it about the Muslims? If you do apply the book in that concept, in the word here, and you add it, you put it towards the book as the Torah, it's perfect meaning. If you put it towards the Injil, the Bible, absolutely perfect meaning. If you put it towards the Quran, absolutely perfect meaning. So for any ummah, for any nation, for them to hold on to their book, to their rules, to their written document was given to them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be followed, the book. And here also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about the book. The next ayah, number 170, is the same one too. So who is he talking about? Who's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about? Any people, any of the three groups who have a book, if they hold on to their book, وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ, and they kept the salah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, إِنَّا لَا نُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ, al-muslihin, I'm sorry, we will never allow the reward of muslihin, the good doers, to go to waste. And by the way, that is in no way means that, uh, you know, uh, after Islam came, uh, Christians or Jews, they should stay exactly where they're at. Actually, they are encouraged in their own books, and they are required, they're demanded in their own books for them to follow the new prophet when they come. The new prophet, which is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And even with their own minds, they should realize that when you have a new messenger comes in, they should follow him, and they should also never forfeit what they believed before, but they would follow the new prophet and on and on. Like, for instance, when Musa alayhi salam came to his people, he substantiated what Yusuf alayhi salam had before, what Dawood alayhi salam had before, Yaqub alayhi salam had before, and Ishaq and Ibrahim and on and on. They believed all that, but they should believe in Musa alayhi salam as well. When Dawood alayhi salam came, then Sulaiman alayhi salam, and on and on, they should believe in the next one and the next one, next one, on down the road. And in our deen, not believing in Islam is not accepted. إِنَّ الدِّينَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ الْإِسْلَامِ. A deen in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after the coming of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is Islam. There's no equivocal way about it. There's no ambiguity about it. You should follow Islam wholeheartedly. And anybody who heard about Islam, heard about the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and did not believe in him, he will be asked the day of judgment. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be the judge on him to judge him accordingly. Why and how come he did not believe in him? What was his reasons why? The next ayah here, inshallah, number 171. وَإِذْ نَتَقْنَا الْجَبَلَ فَوْقَهُمْ كَأَنَّهُ ظِلَّةٌ وَظَنُّوا أَنَّهُ وَاقِعٌ بِهِمْ خُذُوا مَا آتَيْنَاكُمْ بِقُوَّةٍ وَاذْكُرُوا مَا فِيهِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Here, وَإِذْ نَتَقْنَا, nataq is to raise something. And that's why we say the nataq in the body is something that kind of raised above the rest of the area of the skin. It's called nataq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raised the mountain above them. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, he says, وَرَفَعْنَا فَوْقَهُمُ الطُّورِ. Also, this is mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah. وَرَفَعْنَا فَوْقَهُمُ الطُّورِ. We raised above them the tur, the mountain. أي رفعته الملائكة. The angels raised it above their heads. فلما أبوا, for them they refused to take with the rules of the Torah in it completely. And they said to Musa alayhi salam, it says, spread what's in it, and tell us what's in it, and whatever is in it, and if we like it, we like it, we don't like it, we don't like it, either way, in this direction. قال اقبلوها. He told them, he says, take it exactly how it is. They looked at it many times, and they refused what's in it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made wahi, and this is the story here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forced the mountain to be on top of their heads. Could be physical, could be the mountain actually leaned over, or maybe it was just an impression above them, on them. Some scholars say this way or that way, but wallahu a'lam, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the way he is talking about it in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَرَفَعْنَا فَوْقَهُمُ الطُّورِ. We raised the mountain on top of them. And here in this ayah, وَإِذْ نَتَقْنَا الْجَبَلِ, we made the mountain above them. It's an actual physical action. The mountain actually moved. It was right on top of them in a way of threatening way. كَأَنَّهُ ظِلَّةٌ, as if it's a form of shadow. It's formed a shadow on top of them, like a cloud. It's actually, the mountain was on top of them, and they were so fearful that this mountain is going to come down and collapse on top of them. وَظَنُّوا أَنَّهُ وَاقِعٌ بِهِمْ. And they are surely, this way we use the word dhann. Dhann means to surmise, to think of something is going to happen. The word dhann in the Quran, it could serve many different meanings. It depends where is it at. As if you believe in something, you could use the word as today. We could to explain this. We say, if you believe in something, we say 100% is 100%. But if you don't believe in it at all, it would be 0%. But if you are right there in the middle, between the 0% to 100%, that would be dhann. You surmise, I think. How sure are you? 20%, 25%, 30%, 90%, 99%. If you're not 100% and you're not 0%, it's a complete negator, you are in state of dhann. So that's why you notice the dhann in the Quran, the word dhann, it could vary between the 2 points. But sometimes when you're up to 80 or 90%, وَظَنُّوا أَنَّهُمْ مُلَاقُوا اللَّهِ, like the ayah, and they thought, or they are sure they're going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because it's right there in front of them. But they still have a little bit of doubt in their minds, like 1 or 2%, 5%, 10%, because they think they're going to escape that meeting of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like kind of here. They are almost sure that the mountain is going to land on top of them, but the shore has a little bit of escape clause, 5%, 10% or so. They thought, oh, maybe not. Maybe not. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word dhann. So every time you see the word dhann in the Quran, you got to look at it in this context. How sure is sure, and how not sure is not sure, in two different directions. وَظَنُّوا أَنَّهُ وَاقِعٌ بِهِمْ, and they are surely, they thought they will fall, it was going to fall on them, with some doubt in that also as well. خُذْ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, خُذُوا مَا آتَيْنَاكُمْ بِقُوَّةٍ, take what we have given you with strength, بِقُوَّةٍ. Don't take it lightly. Don't take it loosely. وَاذْكُرُوا مَا فِيهِ, and remember what is in it. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, maybe you're going to have to. Maybe you're going to have to. And subhanAllah, brothers, you notice these ayat here, it's actually applicable. It is applicable to Bani Israel at the time, but it's so applicable to us also as well. That we should take the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with strength. We should not take it loosely. We should not take it, in a casual way. We should take it forcefully. We should take it as, this is our book. We should understand it. We should read it. We should take what's in it. We should execute it. We should keep it, memorize it, and rule things by it and refer to it. Don't take it like, oh, maybe not, and on and on. So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done to them here, has forced them to take the book, the Torah, in their own time. They were negotiating with Musa alayhi salam. Should we believe? Run it by us again. We got like this. We don't like this. We want this. We don't want that. Referring to the beginning of the surah. What is the surah talking about? The wishy-washy. Don't be wishy-washy with the deen. Be straightforward. Hold on to the deen. Don't allow any haraj, any burden to come upon you for you not to take this deen. They were acting like this, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put something on top of them. In this case, happened to be the mountain. They thought they're going to fall on top of them if they're not going to take the book. Eventually, they took it. Look at the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He scared them into taking the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Kind of like what we see today, subhanAllah, when you find the COVID-19 forcing people to go back to the ways of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do you think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is exposing people to kind of pressure for them to go back to salah, to go back to prayer, to go back to dua? What's the difference between the mountain and a virus? It's all pressure. It's all something to push you. Take it, go back. Sometimes could be flood, sometimes could be an earthquake, sometimes could be anything of that nature. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will expose people to this kind of pressure for them to go back to Him and find His ways. So it's not always we think about these kind of pressures, all these kind of disasters and calamities are something bad, something evil. It has nothing to do with death. Our death is coming. It's written before even the whole heaven and earth is created. Our money, our income is written for us before even heaven and earth is created. Our health, our status, our marital relationship, everything written for us way before even heaven and earth is created. All what we see in front of us today is forms of manipulation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with His wisdom, manipulating earth, manipulating us, pushing us into believing, pushing us into following in different ways. In Bani Israel, it was blatant. It was a mountain that it was actually more like a shade on top of them. It was like a cloud on top of them, and it was like it casted the shade upon them. To do what? To hold on to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. خُذُوا مَا آتَيْنَاكُمْ بِقُوَّةٍ, take it with strength. وَاذْكُرُوا مَا فِيهِ, and remember what's in it. And وَاذْكُرُوا dhikr here, remember, and also to continuously mention, as we say the word dhikr. right? Make dhikr as what? Subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah. Continuously remembering, continuously reciting, continuously saying what's in it. Also, لعلكم تتقون. لعلكم حرف رجاء. حرف رجاء. As to it is a wishful and wanting thing to happen. لعلكم, maybe, hopefully, this is something's going to happen to you eventually. In that meaning. Another story Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning here. And this is kind of more universal law. وإذ, the ayah number 172. وإذ أخذ ربك من بني آدم على من ظهورهم وذريتهم وأشهدهم على أنفسهم ألست بربكم قالوا بلى شهدنا أن تقولوا يوم القيامة إنا كنا عن ذلك غافلين. This is a very famous story. It's mentioned in the hadith. It's also mentioned here in the ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is the hadith here, I'm using the meaning of the hadith, translating it into English. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stroked the back of Adam alayhi salam. وَاسْتَخْرَجَ مِنْهُ ذُرِّيَّةً. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taken from all his dhurriyyah, all his descendants, all his offspring, from his back. All of them, everybody. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put all of us, and this is all of us, we all like this, put us all in this state of barzakh. We're nowhere near, we're not alive, we're not dead, we're somewhere in between, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us bodies, gave us mouths to talk with, gave us brains, gave us eyes, exactly bodies for us to function with, and gave these souls bodies that we were there. We all were sitting in front of each other. How long, we don't know. But the point is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the point of this gathering is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took from Adam, min zuhurihim, from his back, all dhurriya, all his offspring, wa ashhadahum ala anfusihim. He took witnesses and made them witnesses against themselves. He took their shahada, he took their testimony. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked, after he gathered all humankind, including myself and you and everybody, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked, who's your Rabb? Who's Allah? We all said, you, Ya Allah. We said, who are you going to worship? We all said, you, Ya Allah. He said, will you worship anybody else? He said, no, Ya Allah, we will never worship anybody else. He says, would you ever worship anybody else but than me? He said, no way, Ya Allah. Would I take your oath on this? He said, yes, Ya Allah, we'll take your oath. You take our oath on this. This is something happened before. This is kind of interesting because somebody who is an atheist, I was having a discussion with him. And I told him, said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us, the creator created us, put us here on the face of this earth to worship him. He looks at me, he says, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't want that. Why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forcing me to do this here on the face of this earth? I said, no, you're absolutely wrong. You did sign up for this. You did. You are witnessed against yourself. But this bit of information it's gone away from you. Because when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put us all back into this, in the back of Adam alayhi salam, and Adam alayhi salam came here on the face of this earth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put us generation after generation, khalifa, generation after generation to replace each other. And we are born with zero knowledge, with nothing, and all this memory is gone from our minds, but will be retrieved. It will come back to us when we die. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to bring back to us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to say, didn't I take your oath on this? What happened? You did not believe. You promised. Didn't you remember the promise? That day we say, Ya Allah, yes, we promised. But what? But this, but that. I wish I didn't. I wish I did that. Ya Allah, put me back for the bad doers. Even the good doers, they say, Ya Allah, put me back. No matter how good I did, I wish I did more. SubhanAllah. But at least the good doers will stand there and say, Ya Allah, we kept our oath. We kept our oath to the fullest. We did the best we can. So, وَأَشْهَدَهُمْ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ أَلَسْتُ بِرَبِّكُمْ? Aren't I your Rabb, your Ilah, your Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? قَالُوا بَلَى. They said, yes. شَهِدْنَا أَن تَقُولُوا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was a witness on them, and they were witnesses against themselves. For them not to say the day of judgment, يَوْمُ الْقِيَامَةِ, the day of the judgment, إِنَّا كُنَّا عَنْ هَذَا غَافِلِينَ. Nobody's going to come the day of judgment and say, Ya Allah, I didn't know about this. I didn't sign up for this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to bring back the memory. He's going to say, you were there. You stood there and you agreed and gave me an oath, and I told you, I'm going to put you here on the face of this earth. I'm going to put you with zero knowledge in your mind. You're going to grow, and you promise you're going to look and you're going to find. You're not going to ever waste, this knowledge. You're going to look. You're going to find me. You're not going to worship anybody but me. But subhanallah, some of us forgotten. Some of us are not paying attention. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be making us witnesses against ourselves, not to become ghafilin. Ghafil, somebody who knows something but is not focusing on it. In the state of ghafla, as some people said, that it is the status of right before you go to sleep. You are kind of awake, kind of aware of your surroundings, but you really don't recognize them 100% of what it is. Kind of state of ghafla. أو تقولوا, next ayah, for you to say, كنا غافلين, or you would say, أو تقول إنما أشرك آباؤنا, or for you to say, oh, our parents, our forefathers committed shirk, they worshipped other than you, Ya Allah, من قبل, before us. وكنا ذرية من بعد, and we were just the children, we were just their offspring after them. أفتهلكنا بما فعل المبطلون, would you destroy us? Would you put us into total destruction and torture and demise and nothingness because of these mubtilun, because of our forefathers, what they have done, right? وَكَذَلِكَ نُفَصِّلُ الْآيَاتِ وَلَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجِعُونَ. And that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala divides and separates the ayat, and maybe they're going to come back. Does that make any sense for somebody who's going to recite this to understand it? Why would anybody follow the work and the path of the forefathers if he himself have taken the oath on himself, against himself, even before he was put here on the face of this earth? Why would he do that? Why would you follow? Why would you follow a transgressor? If your father is a murderer, would you become one? Obviously not. No way. If your father is an evildoer, fornicator, and a thief, or a bank robber, or whatever, would you ever do this? No way. Impossible. So, no, that's wrong. Why would we think that if your forefathers were kafirin, mushrikeen, we say it's okay for us to be like that because our forefathers, they were doing it this way? Why? It doesn't make any sense. Especially after we have taken the oath against ourselves. As to our individuals, we should find our own path by ourselves, within our own minds, within our own ways, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the hidayah overall. وَكَذَلِكَ نُفَصِّلُ الْآيَاتِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala divided these ayat, made it tafsil, separated it. لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجِعُونَ, maybe they will come back. Before that, the ayah number 171, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Here, لَعَلَّكُمْ, maybe you will have tuqa. The ayah number 174 is لَعَلَّهُمْ, maybe they will come back. Tuqa, raj'ah, come back overall. The hadith here, and Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, Abdul Rahman Musaf, he says that, عن أبي هريرة كل مولود يولد على الفطرة. Every مولود, every newborn, is born on the fitrah, on the instinct, on the fitrah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created him to have. Now, فأبواه, his parents, يهودانه أو ينصرانه. His parents, they'll make a Jew out of him, they'll make a Christian out of him. كما تولد البهيمة, as the animal was born. أو يمجسانه, they become Majusi, as to worshipper of the sun or worshipper of the fire. As the animal is born, جمعاء هل تحسون فيها جدعاء, like the animals are born with all their qualities, with everything in it. You're not going to find one with no ears at all, with no head, no this, no that. That is not possible. SubhanAllah, how our parents, they put us through, or each generation, they put their children through a path, but it is the responsibility of everybody to find the righteous path, the good path, the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ways of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وَاتْلُ عَلَيْهِمْ, recite upon them, نَبَأَ الَّذِي آتَيْنَاهُ آيَاتِنَا فَانْسَلَخَ مِنْهَا. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us another story. Another story that is recite upon them, about the story about the one who we have given him knowledge and ilm, the ilm of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the knowledge of the deen. فَانْسَلَخَ مِنْهَا, He was min word salakh. Salakha. Salakh is to skin. To skin, like, for instance, if you want to talk about an animal that you have made dabiha from, if you want to separate the skin, you say salakh, salakh. Salakh here, فَانْسَلَخَ مِنْهَا. You notice how the skin, when separates from the body, kind of peels off away completely, does not carry any part of the corpse or the body, the part of the body of the animal. When you skin it, the skin comes out completely separate. This one part, this is the other part. What happened to this guy? Who is this guy? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him knowledge. فَانْسَلَخ. He completely separated from this knowledge, from this what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him. فَأَتْبَعَهُ الشَّيْطَانِ. The shaitan followed him. فَكَانَ مِنَ الْغَاوِينَ. He was from the ghaween. He was from the ones who completely went off the path. مِنْ غَوَى مَا ضَلَّ صَاحِبُكُمْ وَمَا غَوَى مِنَ الْغَاوِينَ. The ones who went astray. He was speaking of something he does not know. He was doing things he does not recognize the end of it. He was believing or acting upon things he doesn't know the consequences of it. غاوين. روى عبد الرزاق. عبد الرزاق مصنف عبد الرزاق عن عبد الله بن مسعود رضي الله عنه. This is the hadith. It was رجل من بني إسرائيل. It was from the Bani Israel, the Israelite. His name is Bal'am ibn Ba'ura. His name is Bal'am ibn Ba'ura. That's his name. And many of the people, they never differed on him. As people said, who this person is. Some people said his name is Sayfi ibn Rahib. Some people said, different name, whoever this person is. And he used to know, he used to have a great knowledge. And this knowledge is Ismullah al-A'zam, the great name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the greatest name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That nobody knows this name, and he would make dua with this name except for his dua will be accepted. So this man, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed knowledge upon him. And he, with this knowledge, he was able to attain many, many things, almost unconditional things. Because once he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with that name, he will be given, right? So what happened is people said he's from Yemen, and people said he's from different places, Jordan and the area today, or on, whatever the story is. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's given him this knowledge. And what happened here to him is that they said that, and this is the story here, that when Musa alayhi salam, and I'm going to recite for you, I'm going to read for you the story of the Asbab Nuzul, but we can look at it a little bit different. Let me read the story for you so you'll be fully knowledgeable of it. So Ibn Ba'ura, Bal'am ibn Ba'ura, what happened is that when Musa alayhi salam, he went to Ardu Bani Kan'an, he went to Bilad al-Sham in the Palestine. He came to the people of Bal'am. They said to him, this is Musa ibn Umran, the son of Umran. And then he came in to kick us out of our country, and Bani Israel is going to come in and take their place. And we are your people, to Musa alayhi salam. And you don't have a place for us, and you are a good person, that your dua will be accepted for us. And so they told Bal'am Ba'ura, even though he was not one of them, he told him, go outside and make dua against Musa alayhi salam when he came to them. So what he did is that he says, how would I go outside and make dua against Musa alayhi salam? And I know from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what I know, he's a good person, there's no way for me to do this. And they kept going. They said, no, make dua, go to him, do what you are known to know. And they give him a lot of obviously very tangible things and big rewards or whatever it is. He had fitna. He took off to the mountain of Bani Israel, looking over Bani Israel where they're standing there. And when he looked on the mountain, on Askar, he started to make dua against them. And every time that he would make dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would return his dua with his tongue against his own people. Everything that he would say against Bani Israel, against the good doers, it turns against his own people on the other side. and he would never ask anything good for his own people, will actually turn against them, will go towards Bani Israel there on the other side. When he came down off the mountain, they asked him, said, "Do you know what you're doing? You did the opposite of what you're supposed to do." And he says, Wallahi, I'm not able to do anything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forwarded my dua the other direction. So everything he said kind of turned the other direction. What he was supposed to do was to be able to make. And then what he said is that he says, there's nothing else we could do except for me to use some kind of trickery. So he says that send a bunch of women and give them, a few things, a few beautiful things, send them to these army and order them to, seduce the people in the army and on and on. And when the women entered the army of the good people, there was a good man from Bani Israel who saw a good woman that he liked her very much. He took her and he went with her to Musa alayhi salam. And then he told him, he says, "What are you going to say? You're going to say this woman is going to be haram. There's no way for you to touch her." And he says, Musa alayhi salam says, "Yes, absolutely, she's haram. There's no way for you to touch her." And this person says, "La wallah, by the name of Allah, I'm not going to obey you. I'm going to take her. She's mine." And he took her inside his tent and he fornicated with her. And eventually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the ta'un to Bani Israel. And what has happened is the end that the ta'un and the plague took them over and they were all died from the end. Long story. What is the point here? If you look at the Asbab al-Nuzul, who is this person? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not mention his name. But we're talking about, Bal'am ibn Ba'ra, whatever his name is. Alhamdulillah, we understand the story. But here, if we take the story without the name, what do we understand from it? Recite upon them the story of some person who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him great knowledge. But he left this knowledge. He walked away from it. فَانْسَلَخَ مِنْهَا. He separated away from it. The shaitan immediately followed him, followed his footsteps. What has happened? فَكَانَ مِنَ الْغَاوِينَ. He was from the ones who went astray completely on the other side. وَلَوْ شِئْنَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if we wanted, لَرَفَعْنَاهُ بِهَا. We have raised his status with this word. This is the ayah number 176. وَلَكِنَّهُ. But أَخْلَدَ إِلَى الْأَرْضِ. He went towards earth. He went wholeheartedly, fully towards earth and what's in it. وَاتَّبَعَ هَوَاهُ. And he followed his own lusts and desires. فَمَثَلُهُ كَمَثَلِ الْكَلْبِ. His example, like the example of a dog. إِن تَحْمِلْ عَلَيْهِ يَلْهَث. If you carry on him, he would be breathing hard. And if you leave him, he will be breathing hard. His tongue will be sticking out, breathing hard regardless. ذَلِكَ مَثَلُ الْقَوْمِ الَّذِينَ كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا. This is the example of the people who denied our ayat, denied our signals and our signs. فَقْصُصِ الْقَصَصَ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Tell them the stories, recite upon them the stories. Maybe they will make tafakkur. Maybe they will be thinking about the sources and the consequences of what they're going through. This is something that is precisely hits the people who have knowledge. Some of us, subhanAllah, we get so cocky with the knowledge we have. We get so, able within ourselves. We think we have abilities, we have ways, we have things. And look at this person. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested him. If you want to talk about Bal'am and Ba'ra, that's one story you could tell about him. You could learn from it as a story that has taken place. But if you take it in general, about somebody who has the knowledge from the book, has the knowledge of Islam, has the knowledge from the books of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but what did he do? فَانْسَلَخَ مِنْهَا. He separated away from it. He acted upon something different, entirely different than what he has. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is given. Shaitan followed him. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted, he would have raised his status because of this knowledge. But he's not worthy of it. He's not worthy for him to carry this knowledge. What did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do to him? Because he turned towards earth and he followed his own lusts, even though he has the knowledge on the other side to refrain him, to stop him, to hinder him from doing what he's doing. But subhanAllah, he followed his lust, the earth anyway. He became like a dog. And look at this example. This dog That is, if you look at him, no matter what you do with him, if you carry a load on his back or you don't, he'll be breathing so hard, profusely, breathing so hard, and there's no way to get anything out of him. He's breathing hard, he's working hard, but there's no results. You notice this man, is it the reference to the fact that, you could take it in this context. He's working hard either way. This person is working hard either way. Either he's working with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or working towards the lusts and desires of what he's doing. But eventually, you notice that he's still a dog. There's no results will come out of him. There's nothing will come out of him either way. Is that the meaning here? Is that the meaning is that you find some people, the good doers on one side, as an example, who are working so hard and for the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they're standing for the haqq, they're standing for the truth, they're doing so much, they're working so hard. There's good results will come out from their hands. The bad doers on the other side, they're working equally hard or possibly even harder. They're working for money, they're working for women, they're working for all the lust desires, they're working for vacations, for cars, for things, they're lying, they're cheating, they spend so much effort, conniving, conspiring, doing things. You notice how the effort is done? You notice how the effort on one, the good doers, will bring fruit, and the other ones will bring no fruit, will bring nothing to them, not even good memory, not even good anything. Is that the meaning here? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala giving the example here, that person will be like the dog who is carrying the information, has the information, and he's working hard with it, but he will never bring any results. No matter what you do with him, he's working hard, he's breathing hard, there's no results will come out of it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَقْصُصَ الْقَصَصَ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Maybe they will be thinking about it to bring some kind of example out of it. سَاءَ مَثَلًا الْقَوْمِ الَّذِينَ كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِهِمْ. What a worst example of the people who denied and negated and rejected our ayat, our signals, our signs, our stories, things, teachings that we give them. وَأَنفُسَهُمْ كَانُوا يَظْلِمُونَ. And themselves, their own selves, they were transgressing against. When somebody talks about يَظْلِمُون, transgression, who's and the Quran, in the entirety of the Quran, who's talking about يَظْلِمُون? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who against who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not even care nothing about it, about them. So who are they transgressing against? Their own selves. They're the ones who lost the benefits. They're the ones who lost the privilege. They're the ones who lost the Jannah. They're the ones who lost the rida and satisfaction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala overall. And subhanallah, the example here, as we come back to it, the dog, how it's when he is continuously in the state of misguidance, complete in the state of, even though because he has that knowledge, but he left it, he walked away from it. He is like the habit that he would have, that he would be breathing hard, as if he's working hard, as if some kind of results out of his work. If you leave him or you carry on him, he will be breathing hard either way. That's why how the example Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us of these people who left the deen, his deen, and they left everything behind. There's no results will come out of them, even though as their own habits, they're working hard, they're breathing hard, they're doing whatever, no results will come out of them overall. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open up our hearts and our minds. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, give us the best knowledge of the Quran and give us, inshallah, the ni'mah and the barakah of following the Quran and the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and grant us, inshallah, Jannatul Firdaus, inshallah, as our final destination.